Hello, my name is Anna Vojnovic, and I am a sophomore Spanish education major here at Bowling Green State University. I'm from Mount Prospect, Illinois, and in my free time enjoy service work, reading, and traveling. Throughout my life, I've been blessed to have quite a few leadership opportunities. This all started back in first grade when I joined Girl Scouts. I am a lifelong member and a Girl Scout Gold Award recipient. The Gold Award is the equivalent of being an Eagle Scout. I am also currently a member of Alpha Phi Omega, the co-ed service fraternity on campus. Our motto is be a leader, be a friend, and be of service. This motto definitely fits my goals for who I want to be. On campus, I also had the opportunity to be a site leader for Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service last year. I had a great time leading my group as we painted the studios and hallway of the Toledo Ballet. Unfortunately, I couldn't participate in it this year since I am currently studying abroad in Spain. That being said, our study abroad program offers a service learning class, so I've had the opportunity to teach English to members of las comisiones obreras, whom, for the most part, are currently unemployed and hope to use their new English skills to acquire work. So though I missed out on one great leadership program, I found another for while I'm here. While these experiences have had an incredible impact on my desire to serve and lead, they weren't nearly as influential as my time spent serving and working for Appalachia Service Project. While in high school, I volunteered to serve with this organization 4 times with my youth group. Last summer, I was an operations coordinator for the summer staff. My leadership duties involved planning and supervising construction projects, leading nightly spiritual and social justice gatherings, managing our cooks, and facilitating the relationships between our volunteers and homeowners. I'm not only grateful for my leadership experiences with ASP, but also for the lifestyle and words of wisdom that I've learned. One of many quotes from our founder, Tex Evans, as seen on the history page of the Appalachia Service Project website, is "We accept people right where they are, just the way they are." To me, this idea of universal acceptance is a radical version of the leadership competency of global citizenship. So what is global citizenship exactly? Well, according to the Office of Leadership at Bowling Green State University, it is versatility in leadership and a communication style that is respectful of cultural context and implications. So, though this does not necessarily require one to fully accept people of all different backgrounds, though we would hope everyone would do so, it asks that we be aware of cultural differences so as to better communicate and work with people from all different walks of life. Before we can look at why global citizenship is so important for leadership, it is important to understand what culture is so that we can understand what types of cultural contexts we might face as leaders. According to the Oxford Dictionary, culture is the ideas, customs, and social behavior of a particular people or society. So, when considering cultural context, it could be important to be aware of any affiliations to different religious organizations, political ideas, nations, primary languages, gender, sexual orientation, socioeconomic status, and so much more. Hearing all these things that make us different might make some people feel as if considering cultural context is just creating space between people by acknowledging all of these things that separate us. On the contrary, the goal of being culturally aware is not to separate people, but to bring them together. If you can understand why a person acts the way he or she does, you can look beyond any differences and begin to focus on the things you share in common. It's easy to think that only diplomats, ambassadors, and Peace Corps volunteers need to think about being global citizens. But as our world continues to become more globalized, it is more and more important for all leaders to have the competency of global citizenship. Some examples of different types of leaders that need to be global citizens include CEOs, because more and more of our economy is becoming international. Businesses work worldwide, and if you pursue a job in business, you may have to travel to another country for meetings and negotiate with people from around the world. Also teachers. Especially here in the United States, teachers have classes with students from all over. According to the article, The Chicago Teacher Strike, Public Education and Immigrants, 1 in 4 public elementary school students is Latino. Not only do these students need to be served in schools, but their families in hospitals. Doctors and nurses must be aware of any specific cultural differences that could cause a need for different types of care, and must watch out for language barriers as well. Finally, our politicians need to be aware of different cultures, because our international relations can either unite us with other nations or cause wars. So, A leader must be a global citizen in order to successfully lead and work with people from all walks of life. As a global citizen, you are more likely to reach a broader audience, less likely to offend anyone on accident, and will have a greater understanding of the world and its people, which will give you greater confidence leading in any setting. Being a global citizen is essential as a leader. Now that we know why it is important for leaders to be global citizens, let's look at how the skill can be utilized in a few different scenarios. My first scenario will be between a male doctor and a Muslim patient. A Muslim woman enters the clinic. She seems to be suffering from some sort of stomach pain. You ask her how she is doing and what is going on, and instead of answering you, she immediately asks for a woman doctor. What do you do? It looks like this woman needs immediate assistance, but refuses to tell you what's going on. Why is she asking for a woman doctor? Can you treat her against her will if she really needs it? If you do not have the competency of global citizenship, or at least not with this situation, all of these questions might be rushing through your head. If you are a global citizen, instead of panicking or becoming frustrated with this woman, you know first to see if there is an available woman doctor. Practicing Muslim women often prefer to see women physicians because, as explained by Dr. Padella in the article Respecting Muslim Patients' Needs, for observant Muslim women, covering up the body is important when they are in the company of non-mahram males, those not related by blood or marriage. People who are non-mahram adults of the opposite sex are prohibited from being alone together in a closed place where sexual intercourse could occur or where even such an accusation could be made. So let's say there's no female physician in the office currently. What next? You let her know and then ask what would make her most comfortable. You could offer to have a female nurse in the room while you treat her and promise to wear gloves so that you never have direct contact with her skin. She may choose to work with you, or you may need to find treatment elsewhere. Either way, you were respectful and didn't accidentally cause her to lose face or offend her in any way. You were a leader and demonstrated the competency of being a global citizen. Another example, probably more relevant to the actions of the student leadership assistant, could be working with an organization on campus. Their cultural context may have nothing to do with ethnicity, race, or religion, but as an organization with a specific goal in mind, they do have their own culture and way of working. If you were to facilitate a meeting for such a group, beforehand, you might want to find out more about the focus of the group, who are their members, what do they hope to accomplish, and how they run their meetings. By doing so, you are showing that you are a global citizen. You are also showing them respect. Finally, an example of global citizenship that I've experienced personally. Mount Prospect, Illinois, and Harlan County, Kentucky are two completely different worlds within the same country. As an ASP staffer, I had to be aware of where I was in certain aspects of the Appalachian culture. First off, unlike in my hometown, there is a high literacy rate in Harlan County, and many people do not finish high school. Because of that, you don't want to make families feel dumb when they come to fill out applications for work. So at times, we would have to read applications to them and help them fill them out. We couldn't just assume that they knew how to read. Another interesting situation that often came up was that of guns. ASP does not want volunteers to be working in the same room as guns. For some people, like our volunteers, this makes sense. Guns can be dangerous, especially around teenagers and power tools. That being said, in Appalachia it is incredibly normal to have guns in the house, not to harm people, but sometimes to hunt, and more often to get rid of any dangerous rattlesnake or cottonmouth on the property. Because of this, I often had to make phone calls to the families that we served on Sunday nights before we came with work crews, reminding them to please move their guns to a secure place, out of view for our volunteers. I explained to them that it wasn't because we thought that they were bad or crazy for having guns, but because many of our volunteers didn't understand guns or how to use them, and there were many minors, so we didn't want any accidents. As you can see, being competent with global citizenship is essential to being a leader. To be a global citizen, pay attention to the people around you. Instead of immediately thinking, that's weird or that's wrong, think, why? Look into customs and beliefs from other cultures and use them when you are in positions of leadership. They will not only make it easier for you to understand the group for whom you are leading, but also how to please them, not offend them, and what is the most effective way to communicate with them. Thank you, and I wish you the best with all of your future experiences with global citizenship.